we need computer memory to store the data. This storage enables us to use the storage data in future. A memory units are the storage areas in the computer capable of holding data and instructions. RAM, it is a permanent memory, but RAM is a temporary memory. When the CPU runs the program, it fetches the program instructions from the RAM and carries them out. Dear students, welcome to CS classes. I am Ravi Kumar KR, lecturer in Computer Science, Vidhyaashram PU College, Temple of Excellence, Mysore. Students, let us start our discussion with the topics memory devices. In our previous session, we had discussed about output devices. Now let us see what are memory devices. Memory is a storage part of the computer. So what is a memory? Memory is used in computer to store data and information. So it is a storage part. There is a place where storage place where we can store data, instruction and information. We need computer memory to store the data. This storage enables us to use the storage data in future. And what is the purpose of using the storage device? So what is the advantage of storing device is that, so whenever the data, once the data is stored, same data we can use it for long time, or we can use the same data in future. That is the advantage of this memory devices or storage devices. And the memory and storage devices are measured in terms of bits and bytes. The measurement used are zeros and one binary digit. So here the unit of memory is in terms of bits and bytes. So that is the unit of memory. Here you know what are bits? 0 and 1 are called bits or binary digits. And here the computer memory is mainly divided as primary memory and secondary memory. So what is a memory? Memory is a storage place to store data, instruction and information. And here the unit of memory is in terms of bits and bytes. And there are two types of memory. One is primary memory and second one is secondary memory. Now let us see what are primary memory. A memory units are the storage areas in the computer capable of holding data and instructions. And there are different types of memories. One is ROM and RAM. So here primary memory and secondary memory, both of them are used for storage or storing different types of data and information. But in primary memory, there are two types of primary memory. One is ROM and second one is RAM. Here ROM stands for read-only memory and RAM stands for random access memory. Now let us see the first one, read-only memory or ROM. Now we can see the image of this. These are the memory devices, or we can say these are memories, primary memory. Here ROM. In ROM, the information is burnt into the ROM chip at the manufacturing time. Here, this ROM is again, we are storing information, and when we are going to store the information, so the information are stored in ROM at the time of manufacturing itself, or burnt at the time of manufacturing the computer system. So that is one point of it. Once the data has been written onto the ROM chip, it cannot be erased, but you can read it. So the meaning of read-only memory is only we can read the data from that memory. So it means that once the data has been written into your ROM chip, it cannot be erased. So it is a type of permanent memory. So it cannot be changed. So you cannot erase it. So only we can read the data in that ROM. When we switch off the computer, the contents of the ROM are not erased but remain stored permanently. So Once it cannot be erased means that it stores the data permanently. And if once your computer is off or once you shut down the system, even then the data will be stored permanently. It cannot be erased. And ROM is non-volatile memory. Non-volatile memory in the sense it cannot be erased and it is a permanent memory. So that is the meaning of non-volatile, means cannot be erased. ROM stores critical programs such as the program that boots the computer. Normally, the what type of information stored in ROM? The information is necessary for booting the computer. What is booting? The technical name of booting is that nothing but to switch on the computer. When you switch on the computer gets booted or it gets on because the information or instructions stored in the ROM. So with the help of those instructions, computer gets booted. So this is ROM. Now let us see what are different types of ROM. One of the type is PROM. PROM stands for Programmable Read-Only Memory. So here the PROM is a memory on which data can be written only once, and a variation of PROM chip is that it is not burnt. It is not burnt at the time of manufacturing time. So what can be programmed using PROM programmer or PROM burner. And PROM is also a non-volatile memory. First point is that ROM is a non-volatile memory, means the data stored permanently. And as we have seen in ROM in the previous slide, so where the data is going to burnt or stored at the time of manufacturing. But in this variation means in PROM, data is written not at the time of manufacturing itself. So the data is written by using a PROM programmer with the help of programmer or PROM burner. So data is written or data can be stored permanently. So this is one type of ROM is PROM, Programmable Read-Only Memory. Second type of ROM is Erasable Programmable Read-Only Memory, that is EPROM. So in this type, the information can be erased and reprogrammed using a special PROM programmer. EPROM is a non-volatile memory, and it differs from PROM that a PROM can be written only once and it cannot be erased, but an ultraviolet light is used to erase the content of the EPROM. So here EPROM, it is erasable programmable. The meaning is that in PROM, what we have seen, the PROM can be written only once, the data can be written only once with the help of PROM burner or any programmer. But here in this example, in EPROM, in this type, the data, it can be erased and can be reprogrammed once again, and with the help of ultraviolet light. With this technology, we can erase the data written in the EPROM and it can be reprogrammed. So this is EPROM, another type of ROM. Next one is EEPROM. It is full form is electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. So here EPROM is a recently developed type of memory. This is equivalent to EPROM, but does not require ultraviolet light to be erased. So it can be erased by exposing it to an electrical charge. So it is also non-volatile. Non-volatile is nothing but is a permanent memory. So ROM is a permanent memory. But in this example, data or content can be erased by the help of electrical charges or exposing this EEPROM to electrical charges, data or content can be erased and it is non-volatile. And EPROM is not as fast as RAM or other type of RAM. Now let us move on to next type of primary memory, that is RAM, that is random access memory. And here RAM is really the main storage, and it is the place where the program gets stored temporarily. So here RAM is another type of primary memory. Here it is called as a main memory, and it stores the data or program temporarily. As we have seen, RAM, it is a permanent memory, but RAM is a temporary memory. When the CPU runs the program, it fetches the program instructions from the RAM and carries them out. So how is going to work? So actually this RAM is going to fetch the instructions. The CPU, it fetches the instructions from this RAM. And when we switch off a computer, whatever the stored in the RAM gets erased, and it is a volatile form of memory. So this is volatile memory. Volatile in the sense data is stored temporarily or temporary memory, and data is available to the user as long as the system is on. Once the computer system is off, the data, the content stored in RAM will be erased. That is why it is called as, it is a volatile memory. Now let us see types of RAM. Under here we can have static random access memory. One of the type of RAM is static random access memory. So it is a type of random access memory, type of RAM that uses latching circuitry to store each bit, and it is a volatile memory. Data is lost when power is removed. This is another type of RAM, static random access memory. It is again volatile memory. Data is lost when the power is off or when the system is off. Second type of RAM is double data rate synchronous dynamic random access memory, or DDR SDRAM. So DDR can transfer data roughly twice the speed of SDRAM. So here the difference between the previous version and this type of DDR RAM is that the data transmission or the transfer the data double the first one or double the SDRAM. So that is the advantage of this. And it is a type of very fast computer memory and uses the clock signal differently to transfer twice the data in the same amount of time. So as compared to SDRAM, as compared to previous type of RAM, this DDR SDRAM is fast because it's going to transfer twice the data of SDRAM at the same amount of time. So nowadays in our computer system we are using DDR RAM. So this is another type of RAM. Now let us move on to next slide. So this is secondary memory. Now what we have seen so far is primary memory. They are RAM and ROM. Now let us see what is secondary memory. The computer may need to store data, programs, etc. And because the primary memory is volatile, as we have seen, volatile is nothing but it is a temporary memory. So if we want to store the data permanently, so we are making use of secondary memory devices or secondary memory. Secondary storage is also called as backup storage. Secondary storage can be used to transmit data to another computer either immediately or later time. So generally we are using secondary memory devices to store the data for long time, or we may have to use it maybe on some other time. So because why we are using this? Because the primary memory or volatile memory means once the system is off, the data, the contents will be erased. So for the reason we are using secondary memory devices where we can use the content or the data, information, programs in future. Now, this provides a mechanism for storing a large amount of data, for a long period of time. So, this is why we are using secondary memory or secondary memory devices. And some of the commonly used secondary storage devices are hard disk, magnetic tapes, floppy disks, and CD-ROM. See, these are all examples for secondary memory devices. So, what is secondary memory devices? It is storage space where to store the data, information, and program and so on for future use. Or the data once we are stored, we can use it for long time because primary memory are volatile. So, this is about the secondary memory devices. Students, let us continue our discussion in my next session. Thank you so much.